Okay, so picture this, Moscow. A super high-stakes deal is going down for a tactical nuke. The air is just thick with tension, you know? Millions of dollars on the table. And then, suddenly, everything goes sideways. Gunfire erupts, a homing beacon goes off, and right in the middle of it all is this one guy who seems to have planned for every single possibility. But who is this guy, and what's his real game here? Let's deconstruct the man they call the Saint. We are honest criminals here. I mean, that one line, spoken right before all the chaos breaks loose, it just perfectly sums up the whole contradiction at the heart of this story. It's kind of like a mission statement from a guy who lives by a code so unique it completely blurs the line between law and justice, between a thief and a hero. So who is this man? Well, his name is Simon Templar. He's an international thief, wanted by pretty much every major law enforcement agency you can think of. Interpol, Scotland Yard, you name it. But here's the thing. Simon Templar is not your average criminal. He operates in a world that's all his own, with rules that, honestly, often put him on the right side of morality, even if he's technically on the wrong side of the law. So let's start right there, with the foundation of his whole character, his code. Because to really understand the Saint, you have to get inside his head, understand his unique philosophy. It's not just about what he steals, it's about who he steals from, and, way more importantly, why he does it. Templar's business model is, let's face it, one of a kind. He only, and I mean only, targets the corrupt and the criminal. And what does he do with all that money? He funnels millions to charities. We're talking Doctors Without Borders, Migrants Assistance, the Children's Hunger Fund. Now, of course, he keeps what he calls a rather hefty commission for himself, but his main goal is this sort of Robin Hood-style wealth redistribution that most governments can only dream about. And this is where the central conflict really kicks in. On one side, you've got Simon, operating with his own unique moral compass. And on the other, you've got the FBI, agents like Cooper and Fernack who see the world in pure black and white. To them, Simon is just another criminal who needs to be locked up. They just can't wrap their heads around the idea that his goal might be a higher sense of justice, not just lining his own pockets. So this personal code of his is about to get tested on a massive global scale. We're moving way beyond one-man heists and into a crisis that could literally destabilize an entire nation. This is where the stakes get astronomically high. $2.5 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's a figure so huge, it's almost hard to comprehend. But where this money came from and what it was intended for, that's what really, truly matters. Because this wasn't just cash. No, this was a lifeline. This was private aid money specifically earmarked to pull the nation of Nigeria back from the brink of total collapse. And just like that, poof, it vanished, diverted into untraceable accounts, leaving an entire country in incredible danger. And that brings us to the human cost. This quote from Nigeria's president, man, it just captures the pure desperation of this situation. He's the one who personally secured these funds to save his people, and you can just hear in his voice that he feels like he's failed them. The theft of this money isn't just a financial crime, it's a full-blown humanitarian disaster. So, how in the world does Simon Templar, this lone wolf thief, get pulled into a huge international catastrophe like this? Well, it all starts with one man, a private banker who knows he is in way, way over his head. Things spiral out of control with terrifying speed. The banker, Ari Balacross, who diverted the funds in the first place, realizes he's trapped. The real masterminds behind it all kidnap his daughter to force him to cooperate. With absolutely nowhere else to turn, he reaches out to the one man he thinks can handle this kind of mess, the Saint. But before he can even explain everything, he's silenced, permanently. With his dying breath, Balacross basically passes the torch, or in this case, a ring, to Simon. He leaves him with this incredibly cryptic clue that becomes the new mission. The account numbers are hidden inside an old Templar ring, one Simon had actually lost a long time ago. But here's the catch. The numbers are totally useless without a key, and that key is something called the Nomad. So what exactly is the Nomad? Well, it's not a physical thing you can hold. Think of it more like a digital ghost. It's a file that's been broken up into tiny little pieces and scattered across a super secure network. To get the key, Simon has to find every single piece and put them all back together. It's a brilliant security measure, for sure, but it also makes the task seem nearly impossible. So now the banker is dead, his daughter's life is on the line, and Simon and his partner Patricia are suddenly in this insane, high stakes race against time. They have to pull off a completely impossible heist before it's all too late. The plan is just straight out of a spy movie. I mean, they have to break into this data fortress, get past all this state-of-the-art security. We're talking pressure-sensitive floors, biometric scanners, the whole shebang, and get that Nomad file. And they have to do it all before a 6 a.m. deadline, because at that point, the accounts will reset and the money will be gone forever. But, of course it's not that simple. Just as Simon manages to get inside, the FBI closes in on the building. And to make things even worse, the mastermind behind this whole scheme captures his partner Patricia. So now Simon is completely trapped, with the kidnappers on one side, the law on the other, and that clock is just ticking down. This is it. This is where everything comes to a head. It's no longer just about the money or even the mission. Now it is deeply, deeply personal. Throughout this whole thing, the main villain, this guy named Raid Marius, seems to have this weird, almost personal fixation on Simon. I mean, why go to all this trouble? Why involve this saint at all? Turns out, the answer is buried deep in Simon's past. And there it is, the chilling reveal. The man orchestrating all of this chaos is directly connected to the murder of Simon's parents. That ring that Bela Cross gave him, it wasn't just any ring, it was his father's. This entire massive operation was just an elaborate trap designed from the start to settle a very old score. And this is when you realize that Templar isn't just a last name, it's a legacy. His father was part of a modern-day Knights Templar, a secret group dedicated to service. And the villain? He's part of an opposing force, the Brotherhood, whose only goal is to wipe the Templars out. Simon has unknowingly walked right into the middle of a secret war. In the end, Simon does what he does best. He completely turns the tables on everyone. The money gets returned to the people of Nigeria, the mastermind is handed over to the FBI on terror charges, and of course the hostages are saved. And the saint? Well, he upholds his code and, true to form, just vanishes back into the shadows. And this brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? The FBI was always one step behind. The official systems were completely blocked by corruption. Simon Templar, a criminal, was the only one who could actually make things right. It really leaves you wondering, in a world where the lines between right and wrong are so incredibly blurred, who are the real saints and who are the real sinners?